Elizabeth Short was 22 years old when her death became one of the darkest unsolved murder cases in American history. People later knew her as the Black Dahlia, a nickname newspapers pushed so hard that it nearly erased the real woman. On January 15, 1947, a woman walking with her small daughter found Short's body in a vacant lot in Leimert Park, Los Angeles. At first, the witness thought she was looking at a broken store mannequin because the body had been washed and arranged so strangely. Detectives quickly realized the scene was far worse than that first awful impression. Short had been cut in half at the waist, drained of blood, and left with severe injuries across her body. Doctors said her official cause of death was bleeding from cuts to her face and shock from blows to her head. The cuts at the corners of her mouth were so deep that they became one of the case's most disturbing details. Even officers who had seen violent crime before said the scene stayed with them. Short had come to California chasing work, attention, and a steadier life after a childhood marked by money problems and family strain. She moved between friends, hotels, and cheap rooms, which made her final days difficult for police to reconstruct cleanly. The press loved that mystery, and reporters often reached witnesses before detectives had even finished their first interviews. That rush for headlines mattered, because every leaked detail made false stories spread faster. Every fresh headline pulled in new tips, new claimed sightings, and new hoaxes that wasted time detectives could never get back. One of the last solid witnesses said he left Short near the Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles on January 9th. After that moment, her path broke apart into rumors, loose memories, and missing hours nobody could truly account for. Some people said they saw her with men in bars, while others remembered phone calls, rides, and promises that went nowhere. By the time police tried to sort fact from invention, the case had already started slipping through their hands. Then the killer, or someone pretending to be the killer, mailed her belongings to a newspaper office. The package contained personal items, including her birth certificate, business cards, photographs, and an address book. Whoever handled those items had cleaned them with gasoline, which suggested care, planning, and a desire to remove fingerprints. Notes soon followed, made with cut-out letters, and one was signed with the name Black Dahlia Avenger. That move turned a brutal murder into a national obsession because it looked like the person responsible wanted to control the story. Police chased hundreds of leads, questioned doctors, artists, drifters, soldiers, and wealthy men, and even investigated people who confessed. Many of those confessions collapsed almost immediately because some people craved attention and others simply could not match the evidence. The Los Angeles Police Department reportedly looked at mountains of names, yet real evidence stayed painfully thin. The investigation kept expanding, but it rarely moved forward in a clean straight line. The nickname itself may have come from the film The Blue Dahlia and from the dark clothes Short often wore. That small detail shows how quickly the public turned her into a symbol instead of treating her like a real victim. Short did not come from the glamorous world later built around her image, and that gap helped myths grow around almost every part of her life. Her father, old friends, and former boyfriends all drifted under suspicion at different times, often on very thin grounds. Decades later, retired detectives and writers named favorite suspects, but none of those theories produced a proven answer. Some people think the killer had medical skill, while others believe the posing and letters were meant to fake that appearance. The case also suffered from weak forensics, media chaos, and the kind of early mistakes that can bury the truth forever. Even now, the story feels powerful because it shows how violence, fame, and bad investigation can feed each other for generations. Elizabeth Short's killer was never convicted, and that silence still hangs over Los Angeles like unfinished business. If cases like this stay with you long after the story ends, keep listening, because some investigations never really let go.